Magandang hapon mga ka-PCBM. It's day 17 of my 30-30-30 entries. And for today, I once again picked up the book, Awaken, The Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And for my listening/watching time, I chose the Discovery Call Training by JTL, aka John the Legend Pagulayan. And this training can be found inside the TFMT or the Freelance Movement Tribe, and nasa EUI din po siya sa Email Underground Intensive na resources. And yeah, so that's because I picked that up because I actually have an interview tonight, which is the bunga ng ating commitment na one pitch a weekday with Risa. So this has been my entry for the action step, the action plan, and the feed my business question, which is what was the one thing that you did to get your business forward, to move your business forward. And I did the connection, I did that pitch, I think Monday this week, and yeah, we're gonna have a call mamaya 9 p.m. today. So anyway, what are the takeaways for what I read and listened to / watched today for the book Tony Robbins, Awaken, the Giant Within? My biggest takeaway there is that, okay, yung pain and pleasure po mga kaibigan, the pain and the pleasure that we feel, yun pala yung ating driving forces that, you know, make us make decisions, alright? Yung pain and pleasure. But then, two individuals, for example, can experience the same sources of pain and pleasure, but then they can interpret it differently, okay? They can make decisions, opposing decisions, and it all depends on where they link their pain or pleasure to, okay? So, pwedeng pareho yung experience natin na pain, pwede tayong parehong broke, but then we could interpret it or we could link it differently, and then because of that difference in where we link our pain or pleasure, magkakaroon tayo ng iba-ibang desisyon sa buhay, alright? So, for example, pareho tayong may utang. Sabihin na natin, meron tayong malaking utang na 230,000 pesos. Gaya na sabi ni siya sa kanyang example, you can reframe, sabi nga ni Tony Robbins, you can change your life by changing what things mean to you, how you interpret things, diba? You can reframe your perspective or perception dun sa utang mo, and you can say, I am grateful for my 230,000 na utang because it has actually elevated, it has expanded my mental wallet, diba? So there's that, you can go you can go like that, or you can be thankful and you can be grateful for it. You can reframe it, diba? Because you now choose to link it differently with that gratitude. Actually, hindi ko pa natapos yung link na part, but then that's like, those are the light bulbs that came to me when I read that pain and pleasure are the sources, like the driving forces that either, you know, pull or push us to a certain decision. But then it's about how we link those pains and pleasures that we experience that, you know, makes the difference in how we make decisions. All right, that's for the reading time, and that's what I got. Now for the listening/watching time, this is what I got. This is like the summary of what I got dun sa Discovery Call Training. Well, there are a few points, and I'll just share to you the ones that, you know, the principles that I got from there. So the very first thing is, of course, your goal in a discovery call is not to close the client. Hindi yun yung goal mo. You're like the doctor here, and your primary goal is to diagnose your client's main problem and to know if they're the kind of prospect that you can help. Yun yung pinaka-important dun. So your goal isn't to close them. You're not gonna pressure yourself to close that client. So yung gusto mong malaman dito is ano pa talaga yung problema niya. So they could be saying, the prospect could be saying some things, but you need to clarify what they mean about those things so that you would know kung ano yung deeper problem talaga, because they can say vague things like, I want my business to be successful. But then JTL, John the Legend Pagulayan, mentioned specifically that you ask them what they mean exactly by what they said, alright? So this is also connected to what Neil Raika has mentioned before in his podcast, The $1 Million Filipino Freelancer podcast, na if the call is like it's para sa mindset ni prospect, it's like an interview, and his positioning it so that he's interviewing you. You can reverse it or at least angle it na parang nagdidisi ka pa rin, such that not such that, but by asking what they mean exactly, by asking the prospect what they mean exactly when they say vague things. Like for example, so ano ba yung goal mo in the next 12 months? Ask mo sa kanya. So, I want my business to be successful. When you say successful, what do you mean exactly by that? What do you mean exactly by success? So, sabihin niya, okay, I want to have more sales. But, okay, alright. What do you mean by more sales? Is it more sales coming from new enrollees to your course, new students? Or is it sales coming from your existing students? Or is it sales coming from somewhere else? So you can specify as much as you can so that you get to understand what they really mean exactly. And that's how you make the DC or the discovery call more effective. And syempre, gusto mo malaman yung current na point A nila so that you would know also the point where you're gonna start working with them, and then you want to know what their goal is in 12 months. Like for example, so you ask them, you want them to imagine what is it like to work with you, and you ask them, okay, ano ba yung goal mo in the next 12 months? Let's say we work together. What is your what do you envision? How would it look like to you to find that success in 12 months? Alright, so ano yung picture mo ng success if we work together? Ano yung picture mo ng success in the next 12 months? Okay, but in 12 months, what picture is it in your mind na masasabi mo, okay, when we've reached that, we've actually done something incredible for the business, we actually made this successful. Okay, so you want them to imagine what their goal is, and then you compare that in your framing to where they are now, so that you can make the gap wide. And you can make the gap even wider by by asking them what they've done before, what solutions they've tried before that did not work. Alright? You can make the gap wider. Bakit gusto mo mag-widen yung gap ng point A to point B nila? Because that will make them feel the pain even more deeply. So connected pa din siya dun sa pain and pleasure natin kanina. So if they feel the pain or the problem that they're having, they will likely make that decision to work with you because they have felt the pain, and you can do that by presenting to them how wide the gap is from their point from their point A, from where they are, to their point B, which is where they're going. Okay, so what else have I got? Well, there are so many things. Grabe, 8 minutes na pala to. So, bahala kayo kung pagpapatuloy nyo pag watch tong video na to. But anyway, now the action step is, I'm gonna show up. Pinaka-simple na action step today, I'm gonna show up for that. It's an interview. He called it an interview. So, but I'm gonna turn it in a way that I could ask the prospect what questions, diba? Yung technique ni Raikol. So that's the goal, right? So again, yun yung main goal natin ngayon, because I like that, pa-insert ko lang, I like that we're doing this at BCBM because it's making clear para sa akin kung ano yung path na gusto ko. But anyway, mga kaibigan, before I close this, let me just leave you with this song na Go Up, titled Go Up by SB19. You might have noticed na gusto ko yung SB19 na group, and if I like a group of artists, for example, I would dig deeper into their songs and really extract the best of the best from them. So if you haven't tried listening to the song Go Up by SB19, I recommend you go to Spotify and listen to it. It will inspire you to go up. It's actually pakwento na lang. If you're gonna stay and you're gonna listen to this kwento, go ahead. So SB19 is the group that surpassed BTS sometime, okay, with their song Bazinga. But before they got there, they had also a downtime. So super down sila like years ago, like maybe 2019 that was, I don't know, I'm not sure about the year, but I know that yung song na Go Up was the song that launched them talaga, doon sila nag-viral sa Twitter. So somebody reposted their dance practice video for the song Go Up, and in that song they gave everything, because you know, they don't know anymore if meron pang pag-asa yung kanilang, meron pang patutunguhan yung kanilang training with the Korean company. So they didn't know if magiging successful pa sila after all the pains that they have encountered. But in that song, feeling kasi nila yun na yung last nila, but then they just gave it their all. And then somebody out of nowhere, I don't know exactly where, but I mean, they really didn't expect it, but somebody reposted their dance practice video on Twitter, and that song, and that video rather, went viral, okay? And dun sila na-discover, okay? So, there's a line in that song, diba? There's a line in that song that says, ito nga, sorry, 1, 2, 3. Ito nga aking pinapangako, hindi susuko, kahit pa ko'y mapingko. Yeah, make na, you know I'm ready. Come on and test me. Yeah, we gonna go up. Ibibigay ko ang aking puso sa pag-abot ng pangarap, di hihinto. Handa kong harapin ang lahat, yeah, kahit pa imposible. Yeah, we gonna go up. So if gusto nyo pakinggan ang buong kanta, is just go to Spotify, search for SB19 and search for the song Go Up, and I'm sure that it's gonna, you know, pump you up. It's like there's a dance to it, and the lyrics itself is very inspiring. So yun lang po ang aking may bibigay sa inyo ngayong hapon na ito. Wow, this is 12 minutes, and thank you if you've reached this far. Sige, bye mga kaibigan, see you in the next video. Bye.